We are less than 1 week from the start of the EFL Championship season. Most seasons are finishing up their preseason today, including Coventry City, who drew 2-2 to Bundesliga side St. Pauli. Today we're going to go through the breakdown and the analysis of the game, what I think was good, what I think was bad, and there might be some things that surprise you going into the season. I think we all have an idea of what needs to be done because, this team is not a finished product, but things are trending in the right direction. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jonah Fatcat. I make EFL Championship and Premier League content and general football content as well. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed, just double check right now. If you haven't, please hit it. And I always say, like the videos and comment down below if you agree or disagree with things I say today, because I tend to have some pretty controversial opinions. So let's go. Now, I've got 4 key points about today's match and the preseason in general that I want to talk about. The first one, and it's probably the most looming issue, what did Carl Rushworth drink last night? That's what I want to know, because he looked like a different keeper today. In between the sticks, he looked very comfortable. He had a few good saves as per usual, as you'd expect. However, he didn't look as composed on the ball as he did in the previous friendly against Real Betis. He made 2 mistakes that led to 1 goal, could have very easily been 2 goals. Let's look at them real quick. We'll start here. This was the first mistake. Now, this one did not lead to a goal, as we will see in a couple seconds, but calm as usual, take a couple touches, wait for someone to make a run. Now, looking a little confused, and then he quickly tries to make a touch, and it bounced off his foot, leading to this. We get lucky, not too sure how. St. Pauli did not finish that, but we get away with 1. Now let's go to the second goal. Keep an eye on Ben Sheaf right here. Watch the little hand signal he gives to Rushworth. He tells him, don't pass the ball there. Rushworth then doesn't have a second move in mind, and again, the ball bounces off his foot because he panics, and that time, they are not going to miss the net. 1-1. Now, as we know, Carl Rushworth is a super vocal player. You can see him kind of get on Ben Sheaf after it, but to be completely honest with you, this one is going to be on Rushworth. Yes, Ben Sheaf said hold off on the pass as he had 2 of the St. Pauli players riding up on him, but Rushworth still had that 1 to 2 second range to figure out another pass, and he just didn't. So that's going to be on him. A little concerning that this is our last, real play until the season starts. You probably would have liked him to get this out of the way in the preseason. Whether you like him to get it out of the way in the last match before the season starts or not, what can we do at this point? I think he'll be okay. I'm just hoping that he can go in and stay confident and continue just having that presence and aura that he has on that back line, very vocal, and this just, is in one ear and out the other. Now let's talk about something positive before we get into the negatives real quick. Our strikers showed up today. Originally, this section was called Congrats BTA, you won the job, but then I had to change it to Congrats BTA. Oh wait, Sims did something. Worth mentioning, of course, we saw a quick cameo from Haji Wright. Didn't see too much, but you're just happy to see him back on the pitch. Let's shift back to one of these 2 players is going to be starting on Saturday against Hull. BTA got the start in the match today. He was very aggressive. He scored a goal, whether he meant to or not. He had about 2 or 3 opportunities where I think he potentially could have bagged, but their keeper did have a good day. His positioning was definitely on top there. I would like to see a little bit of more unpredictability from BTA when he's through on goal. I really like some of his first touches today, and of course, we know his pressing is top tier. It's the best that we have from a striker in our team. Arguably the best on the team, but behind Radoni and Sakamoto. So I was really happy with him today. He definitely felt chaotic and problematic to the defenders, and he was definitely occupying the defenders. They had to make sure they knew where he was, and then that led to us being able to play around with other positions in the match. Now, second half, you see some Sims come on. Beautifully lofted cross in by Rafa, who did a great job taking on the defender, which is, you didn't see Sakamoto do much today, so it's definitely a testament to him, even if it was a different player that was playing left back at the time. And then we see this. As I said, Rafa on the wing, taking on a defender, cutting inside, lofting one in, and beautifully misdirected header by Ellis Sims, tucks it into the bottom corner. Let's look at the celebration, lads. Stone cold, no emotion. You know what that tells me? He sees the criticism. He hears it. He feels it. But despite all of that, he keeps it professional. And he tends to go to the supermarket a lot. So if it was really affected him that much, maybe you figure he'd send someone else. But really happy for him. I've been a big critic of him this preseason. Fairly so, but I'm really happy for him. Good to get him a goal under his belt before the season starts, and now you definitely got to figure that he is going to get some sort of playing time. I think we knew going in that both of them were going to play, not including Haji Wright because we didn't know his status, so now that just makes the decision ever so much harder for Frank Lampard because it's like you got Ellis Sims who came in and was clinical with his 1 opportunity, and then on the other side, you had BTA who had over a prolonged period, showed some inefficiencies, but overall was majority positive, did get himself on the goal sheet, and which is very chaotic. One thing I do want to mention as well, I think this was the first true true open play goal this preseason from us. That wasn't a deflection, wasn't an accidental goal, wasn't an own goal, wasn't an open net. So good job, Ellis Sims. I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you. All right, gang. As we know, what goes up must come down. You know the Joner Fat Cat channel. I am a bit of a pessimist at times, so we're going to group these last 2 key points together, and it's going to be a discussion of our back line, specifically our center backs, and then our defensive midfielders. You guys like this mug? That's Fat Cat, by the way. Let's start off. Ben Sheaf, the best I've seen him play this preseason. He looked like he wanted to be there today. He looked interested. He put in some good tackles. Still definitely gives the ball away a little bit too easily, but he is good at recovering and very good at making tackles. So good things you want to hear from a defensive midfielder and the man who wears our armband. Second off, when Grimes went down, I was horrified. He was able to get back up and continue on. Grimes' passing, honestly, he surprises me. I knew he was a good passer and he has good set piece deliveries, but just really just on it a lot. He got very good through balls. Loves putting the ball in a dangerous position, so I love that. But I don't think this double pivot of Grimes and Sheaf is going to work out. These are 2 players who play very similar, okay? In theory, that may sound good. If you're playing FIFA, that sounds great to have 2 central defensive midfielders who are just going to make a concrete back line, form just a square brick of steel with your 2 center backs, but I don't think practically that can work out for this team. We didn't have Radoni in there today. We had Victor Torp, but Victor Torp was sort of falling into our sketch and our game plan of putting the ball down the wing and making things happen. So then again, as I've mentioned time and time again, you're probably so sick and tired of hearing of it. The midfield is wide open. When the midfield is wide open, you've got like Grimes, who loves to sit in between the center backs, which we'll get into that, because, you know, he feels that he needs to support them because they aren't as strong. And then it leaves Sheaf to do an impossible job. So if you have a guy like Sheaf trying to cover a box-to-box role when all he knows his whole life is being a holding defensive midfielder, what do you expect to happen? There's going to be inefficiencies. Things aren't going to look right. They constantly want to play the same way where they drop back deep into possession as a center half. But the thing is, they have to both be sure that the other one isn't doing that at the time. So you're losing your football instincts that you were so used to playing with your whole career. Sheaf used to do that for this club. Grimes used to do that for Swansea City. So when you try to mix those 2 together, maybe if you have time to figure out how to make it work, which Frank did admittedly try to do in the preseason, I just don't think it's an effective business model for this season. When you know that we have issues scoring goals, one of the key points today was that our strikers finally got turning and firing for the most part, but this is just one match against a nearly relegated Bundesliga side, so you don't know how it's going to translate to the championship and the physicality of it, even though I will say this was a very physical match for preseason. You could tell both teams are very close to their season starting. So I'd like to see Victor Torp in that box-to-box role instead of Sheaf, see how that works out, see if he can provide the defensive stability that we need, but then also help with the attack, help with build-up play, help with passing, help with breaking down low blocks, because you sure as hell know we're going to see a lot of those against the bottom half of the league especially. You figure when we play like Ipswich, Southampton, possibly Birmingham City, you would want to see like a Sheaf Grimes double pivot because you know that we're not going to have the ball a lot. But if I had to bet and put my money on it, I would reckon that we're going to have more than 50% possession in 60 plus 70 plus percent of games this year. Oh, my mouth is dry. Sorry, I'm yapping. I think something needs to be tested. It's unfortunate that, you don't have many throwaway games left. We know the championship is super unpredictable and you can't underestimate any opponent, not even Hull City. Maybe Sheffield Wednesday, but that's a story for another day. So, Frank, get your tactical board out, my son. Give me a call. I can help you out, bro. Now, the center backs. Okay, I'm not putting my green screen up for this. Kill me. Let's just look at this screenshot I have right here. This kind of is a testament to the last thing that I spoke about, where I thought that, Grimes and Sheaf are too familiar and similar players to coexist. This is Sheaf right here. This is Grimes right here. There were a lot of times in this match where I felt like the formation changed to a 3-4-3, which was very interesting. You would see, before we went out, Kane, Kessler, Hayden, and then Jay Da Silva pushing up and playing like left wing back, sort of left mid, and then you would see Grimes or Sheaf drop back a lot of the times in between our center backs. But in this specific screenshot, you have Grimes over here playing as a right back. Maybe he's a little bit more forward than he was at some time when the issue was pressing to me. It's just very odd because then you have to rely on our center backs to be able to get this ball up to, Victor Torp. And look how deep he's playing. And I'm not faulting Torp. This is the blueprint that Frank has played. This is the blueprint and the standard that Jack Radoni has set. Our center attacking mid plays on the wing a lot of the times. I would like to see him get in this area, or maybe even a little bit deeper back so that he can receive a pass and help build up play to get the ball forward. Now, you're in a situation where Kitching has the ball. If Kitching passes to Sheaf right here, he's going to get converged on. You would hope that he would quickly go back to the keeper, but you're really just playing backwards. Jay Da Silva is in line with this defender and the ball, so he isn't an outlet unless he drops back over here. All you have the option to do is just boot it forward. Now, if anything goes wrong there, say, I believe on this possession, he tried to pass to Da Silva after he started to boot out. This defender converged on him, got a touch on the ball, and then we're just so out of whack. So you've got Kitching over here, basically on the shadow. You've got Bobby Thomas in no man's land, where this striker can just come right forward, one tapped pass, Rushworth still might be out of position, dink it over his head, or you're one-on-one with the keeper. I just feel like the positioning of the center backs is very odd, and something just feels off because even Grimes and Sheaf see it, where they feel the need to overcompensate and sit back, and it just seems like it's very easy for us to get caught out on the counterattack, not even when the ball is down on the other side of the pitch, but a counterattack can spawn out of nowhere. There was a similar scenario earlier in the game where BTA came up to around where the ref is. He tried to hold up play, they tapped it free, and because these guys were out of position, again, they had a way through, and Rushworth was able to make a tap save, but still, just a dangerous scenario that probably could have been avoided. And it's a little scary thinking that, you know, our third center back right now is probably Jake Bidwell. We don't know if Lati is going to be ready for the start of the season. He has a knock, / he's not fit from the Gold Cup with Jamaica. It was great to see Haji right back, but I definitely think it's a little bit scary what's going on with our back line and just the need to overcompensate by Grimes and Sheaf, and also, like I mentioned, them not being able to coexist because sometimes both of them feel like they need to overcompensate and both of them drop back deep. I mean, look right here. This entire area of the pitch, which is the most scary area for the opposition if someone has the ball there, is wide open. You've got Sheaf nearly playing as a center back. You've got Grimes playing as a damn right back because they feel the need to compensate for these guys. So I think that one may be a little bit more controversial, but I'm just curious to hear what people have to think. So that's going to be all for this video. Overall, I am happy and things are trending in the right direction. Really happy that Haji got on the pitch. Really happy that both strikers got some confidence under them going into the season. I think that'll make a huge difference. I predicted my final score with Glimpse, who is a Hull City YouTuber. That video will be out Monday. Keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already and you made it this far, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and let me know down below if you would agree or disagree with these statements. Thank you. Looking forward to the start of the season, and peace.